Hey guys, hope you're all doing well, and welcome to the sixth episode of Building Accurate Habitats in Jurassic World Evolution 2. Here, we will focus on a dinosaur that has often been described as a prehistoric walking tank, the Ankylosaurus. We will learn some things about this herbivorous dinosaur and then attempt to recreate its environment in an enclosure. So let's jump right in and start getting to know this armored dinosaur, which has often been depicted fighting its main rival that it coexisted with during the Cretaceous period, the Tyrannosaurus rex. Often compared to an army tank or truck, Ankylosaurus was a heavily armored dinosaur with a predominant club-like protrusion at the end of its tail. Its name translates to fused lizard in Greek, and it gets that name due to the bones in its skulls and other parts of its body being fused together, making it an extremely rugged dinosaur. This dinosaur lived during the late Cretaceous period in western North America about 68 to 66 million years ago, and it was one of the last non-avian dinosaurs. The Ankylosaurus was a massive animal, and the largest known Ankylosaurus known to date. The paleontologists initially overestimated its full size, until a 2004 study of its fossils by armored dinosaur expert Kenneth Carpenter downsized it a bit. According to Carpenter, the accurate length of Ankylosaurus was between 20 and 26 feet long, and it lightly weighed up to 4 tons. Ankylosaurus was quadrupedal, with a broad, robust body with hind limbs longer than its forelimbs. It had a wide, low skull with 2 horns pointing backwards from the back of the head, along with another 2 horns below those that pointed backwards and down. The bones in the skull and other parts of the body were fused, increasing their strength. And additionally, unlike other Ankylosaurs, the nostrils of this dinosaur faced sideways rather than towards the front. The front part of its jaw was covered in the beak, with rows of small leaf-shaped teeth farther behind it. Its main unique features were its armor plates with bony half rings covering the neck and its large club on the end of its tail. This tail club is thought to have been used for defense against predators or in combat against other Ankylosaurs fighting for territory or for meat. The Ankylosaurus family can be split into 2 groups, Ankylosaurids and Nodosaurids. All of these had impressive armor, but with the distinction that Nodosaurs did not have tail clubs. Only a small subset of the Ankylosaurids named Ankylosaurs had tail clubs. Likewise, large spines projecting sideways from the bodies are present in many traditional depictions of Ankylosaurs, but no known evidence exists that they ever had them. In addition to Ankylosaurus being depicted with spikes, the dinosaur in Montonia has also been depicted with an Ankylosaurus-like tail club, giving way to a lot of confusion and misconception between these 2 groups. The Ankylosaurus had great weapons and armor, but this came with a large trade-off. It was a slow-moving animal with a limited top speed of 9 miles per hour, but paleontologists believe that it was able to make quick movements when necessary. Ankylosaurus was first unearthed in 1906 during an American Museum of Natural History expedition to the Hell Creek Formation in Montana. In 2 years' time, the Ankylosaurus would be given its name by paleontologist Barnum Brown. This initial discovery included mostly the upper part of the skull, a couple of teeth, part of a shoulder girdle, cervical and dorsal vertebrae, and about 30 armor plates or osteoderms. In 1910, another expedition by Brown to the Scholar Formation in Alberta, Canada, found a complete Ankylosaurus skull, mandibles, and the first and only tail club that would ever be found, as well as ribs, vertebrae, limb bones, and armor plates. Aside from those 2 expeditions, only a handful of specimens have been discovered in other formations such as the Scholar, Freshman, and Ferris formations, but no complete skeleton has ever been found. The structure of much of the skeleton, including most of the pelvis, tail, and feet, is still unknown to paleontologists. Many traditional depictions showed Ankylosaurus in a squatting posture and with its huge tail club being dragged over the ground. Now, modern reconstructions show the Ankylosaurus with a more upright limb posture and with its tail held off the ground. Its powerful tail club was composed of 2 large osteoderms, with a row of small osteoderms at the middle and 2 more small ones at the tip. As mentioned before, only 1 tail club has ever been discovered, and it measures 20 inches long, 20 inches wide, it's 8 inches tall, and weighs up to 50 pounds. This great, powerful, and heavy tail club was supported by strong muscles and bone-like tendons called ossified tendons. In 2009, a study estimated that Ankylosaurus could swing their tails at 100 degrees laterally, and the tail club could have been an effective weapon, capable of breaking and pulverizing bone with a force of 14,000 newtons. But the study also showed that such a great amount of energy meant that the Ankylosaurus was also at risk of injuring themselves. Despite the feasibility of tail swinging, the researchers could not determine whether Ankylosaurus used their clubs for defense against potential predators and interspecies combat, or both. Some studies have found evidence of Ankylosaurus using their tail club for interspecific combat. Whatever the case, it seems that dinosaurs did sometimes use its tail as a weapon. There are two fossil specimens in which the tail club showed damage, looking as if it hit something with great force. One specimen, Tarcha, showed signs of injury on both the pelvis and tail area, and the club was found to be asymmetrical, possibly due to restricted bone growth caused by the strikes. The top of Ankylosaurus was covered with thick armor, consisting of massive knobs and oval plates of bones known as osteoderms or scutes, which are also common in crocodiles, armadillos, and some lizards. They are just like bones that form within the skin, and these osteoderms were probably covered with skin and keratin, the fibrous protein that makes up hair and nails in people. The plates, which varied in size, were aligned in regular horizontal rows down the dinosaur's neck, back, and hips. The animal's biggest cluster of armor was in its neck region. Along with armor plating, Ankylosaurus had 2 rows of spikes along its body. Additionally, its head was long and low, with prominent horns projecting back and to the side and plates protecting its eyes. However, even without these defenses, Ankylosaurus would have been very difficult for predators to kill. They had a very rotund body, were wider than they were deep, and they had a very low profile. It would have been very difficult even without the armor to get an effective attack on it, because of its relatively flat body. On another note, research presented in 2014 at the Annual Society for Vertebrate Paleontology in Berlin suggests that the Ankylosaurus nasal passages help keep their brains cool. Also, the retracted position of the nostrils have been compared to digging worm lizards and blind snakes, and while it was not a burrowing animal, the snout may indicate earth-moving behaviors. These factors, as well as low rate of tooth formation in Ankylosaurus compared to ornithischians, indicated that it had been omnivorous or may have dug in the earth for roots and tubers. 2 small teeth from a young Ankylosaurus found in the Lance and Hell Creek Formation showed that they were heavily worn. It has been suggested that the young did not swallow their food whole, but did some sort of chewing. Adult Ankylosaurus, on the other hand, did little to chew its food and thus probably would have spent less time foraging than an elephant. Now that we have some knowledge on Ankylosaurus, let's talk about the environment which it lived in, to give us a better idea what its enclosure would look like. The late Cretaceous period in western North America consisted of warm subtropical and temperate climate, with occasional rainfall, tropical storms, and forest fires. The foliage consisted primarily of angiosperms with some lesser-known conifers, ferns, and cycads. The broad muscle of Ankylosaurus indicated that it was a non-selective browser that fed on an abundance of ferns, low-growing shrubs, and fibrous and woody plants. It may also have had a varied diet including eating tough leaves and pulpy fruit. It has been suggested that Ankylosaurus would need to consume at least 130 pounds of ferns a day, similar to what a modern elephant consumes in a day today. To help with all that food, the Ankylosaurus came equipped with a large gut spade for digesting plant material. Further studies of Ankylosaurus by paleontologists suggest that they did not appear to congregate in groups, perhaps only when young. Paleontologists also suggest that Ankylosaurus might have been ecologically rare due to its few remains. A theory is that Ankylosaurus lived uplands in environments away from the rivers and swamps conducive to fossilization, or they simply may not have been all that common in the ecosystem at the time. We just don't know why they are so rare. So here we are, let's go ahead and start building our Ankylosaurus enclosure. As you can see, I've got a couple of them already hanging about. First things first, let's go ahead and do our upland environment, and this is where paleontologists believe is where these guys hung out. So let's do a nice upland environment here in the middle. Just raise it a bit. Just try not to have it too high. I'm gonna have some problems with that, but we're gonna go ahead and smooth the terrain out. It might just work out for it. Let's go ahead and raise it right here. Mostly in the middle. Alright, that's pretty good. Now we just smooth it out. Make sure that the ankylos can actually hang up here. Make a nice flat. So, do like that. That looks pretty good. Let's smooth it out a bit. There we go. Alright, I think we're good. Let's go ahead and change out this though. This is leaving a nice crater there in the middle. Let's go and fix that. Let's erase this little part. There we go. Erase it like the most, and then we'll move that terrain here. Perfect. So once we got that nice upland environment, let's go ahead and do our floodplain slash rivers slash lakes. We're gonna do a nice little lake, if you will, here, and we'll start doing our floodplain. So we're gonna do one. Let's see if we can do another one, but we're gonna split this into two, and kind of gonna give us two rivers here. And that's actually pretty good. It's perfect because you kind of want them to look unnatural. So that one's gonna end, and then we'll have this one keep on going. And let's go ahead and leave it like that. That's gonna be our way in. But let's go ahead and just smooth this out, so it's easier for the dinosaurs to go in through. And we're gonna finish it off by, I guess, not going all the way, but leaving it to here. And cut some corners here and there. After all, it's your habitat. And go ahead and build it as you will. But we're gonna go ahead and build another little nice lakey area here. And yeah, we're gonna leave these areas as places where they can traverse through. And you can go ahead and edit and fix your habitat as you will. But I think this looks really nice. Let's actually go ahead and connect this river to this one. Let's go ahead and flatten that terrain here. Well, am I gonna be able to connect them? I should be too, right? Lower terrain. Oh, it's probably because I already added water. So if that's the case, let's just leave it like so. Let's actually let this smooth it out. We'll leave it. Scratch that idea. So once you got that done, now it's time for the plants. First things first, are gonna be our angiosperms. So let's go ahead and do a couple of angiosperms here in the middle. Angiosperms are, seed flowering plants, so we'll use these guys. And just spread it around as you will. We're gonna need a nice balance of these guys. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That's good enough. A really good one that you want to use on this enclosure, it's going to be your Temschia. It's a nice late Cretaceous ferns that is perfect for wetlands. So we're gonna go and do it in our wetlands here. And you kind of want to do it in the bodies of water. This part right here, not too much, like so. And the rest is going to be your cycads. Some cycads here. And finally, well, not finally, next are our ginkgos, I mean. Let's do one here, do some here, I mean. Let's go ahead and fill in the spots that we haven't gone through. I think that's good. I don't want to add too much. There we go. Cut some of the Temschia, if you call it. And actually, one more thing that our Ankylos are going to need, and our Triceratops, are going to be our leafy climbers. So let's go in at our... Actually, let's go ahead and do the fibrous ground cover. No. I was right. Leafy climbers. This is going to be our food for our Ankylos. Along with mostly everything else. Mostly this. Add some here, add some there. And I think we're good. Last thing we're going to do is our terrain. Let's first remove plants from here. These are going to be our highly traversed areas. So if you can imagine, these animals are going to be walking through here, and since they weigh a lot, and since it's going to be herds of them, they're going to tramp the ground beneath them. And for the most part, it's going to look like dirt. I don't know if you've gone to zoos. If you've gone to zoos, You can see that the highly trafficked areas of the enclosures are usually, dirty, well, full with dirt, because, the leaves and the grass gets kicked up. So we'll just add some dirt in the areas where you would think, herds will be traversing through your habitat or your enclosure. It's a bit bigger. I'm not seeing a lot of the darkness, but, details count. So yeah, let's do that. Not too much here, but yeah. And then afterwards, you want to get some sand here in our embankments. Ideally, you want to do this before you lay down your plants so you have a better way of seeing how it's looking, but this way works too. It's not so bad. And after that, actually, let's go ahead and mix some rock in as well. Some sand and rock for our embankments. And up here, we're going to switch the grass a little bit to be a bit more woodlandish. So we'll switch it up a bit, not too much, because I really like the grass and it's supposed to be, really warm, subtropical, and temperate. So the grass and the amount of foliage I added here is perfect. We'll add a little rock here. Oh, that's here actually. That looks pretty cool. And we'll add some dirt on top of it. And I think that's gonna make it stick out a bit more. Yeah, look at that. I like it. Now it looks like it's really highly traversed through. Same with here. And I guess our ankylos are sticking through to what paleontologists said. They'll stick to upland areas, and this is where they're mostly hanging out. So I think we did a pretty good job. What do you guys think? What would you guys have changed? Is there anything that I'm missing that you guys would have done differently? Go ahead in the comment down below. But here you have it. This is our Ankylosaurus enclosure. We have our swampy areas, our nice floodplains and rivers, with a nice little upland area where, as you can see, our Ankylosaurs are making it their home. So paleontologists might have been right about this. If you want to make your Ankylosaurus feel more at home, you can also add some dinosaurs that it coexisted with. As mentioned earlier, the Ankylosaurus lived during the late Cretaceous period, predominantly in western North America. It lived alongside the three-horned ceratopsids like the famous Triceratops and its lesser-known cousin, the Pterosaurus. It also shared the landscape with one of the largest hadrosaurs ever discovered to date, the Edmontosaurus, as well as the thick-headed lizard Pachycephalosaurus, and the wondrous lizard named Thescelosaurus. It also coexisted with the small herbivorous theropods like the Struthomymes, Ornithomimus, and the small carnivorous theropod Tetroda. But the Ankylosaurus was the prehistoric tank of its time, so there must have been a reason for all that armor and protection. This dinosaur was covered with hard bony plates that offered protection from its most formidable rival, the Tyrannosaurus rex. When these two met in combat, the Tyrannosaurus rex would have needed to flip the flat, four-legged Ankylosaurus over, exposing its unprotected underbelly to find a weak spot. This is perfectly illustrated in the 2015 film Jurassic World. There is a scene where an Indominus rex comes face to face with an Ankylosaurus and kills it by flipping it over and delivering a deadly bite to its head. In the Jurassic Park timeline, according to information gathered by the Dinosaur Protection Group, InGen had the Ankylosaurus with a 91% complete genome and was rumored to be in the original Jurassic Park, but it was cancelled after the disastrous events that happened. Despite that, Ankylosaurus has made various appearances post-Jurassic Park 3, partly because the new director, Colin Trevorrow, is such a fan of the armored dinosaur. Before Jurassic Park 3 though, there was a small script in Jurassic Park's second film, The Lost World, in which Dr. Berkey finds Ankylosaurus carcasses in the island and once again declares that they've gone extinct, but this never actually made it to the final script. During Jurassic Park 3, Ankylosaurus can be seen grazing through the wilds of Isla Sorna, and it's also spotting during the river scene when Al and the rest of the party passes through a herbivorous herd. As Ankylosaurus is Colin Trevorrow's favorite dinosaur, it has made various appearances in Jurassic World movies. As mentioned earlier in Jurassic World, the Ankylosaurus is seen dueling and losing a fight against a rampaging Indominus rex. It once again makes an appearance in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, during the eruption of Mount Sibo, where it is seen running away from the explosion. Then again it is seen during the auction scene where it is seen being sold for $10 million. And again at the end of the film, where it is seen escaping the Lockwood estate towards the California wilderness, possibly setting it up to make an appearance in the upcoming film Jurassic World Dominion. In other Jurassic Park media, the Ankylosaurus makes an appearance and has an important role in the Netflix series Camp Cretaceous as Ben's sidekick named Bumpy. It has made a small cameo in the first Jurassic Park arcade game and in video games throughout the years like Warpath Jurassic Park, Lego Jurassic World Alive, Operation Genesis, and Jurassic World Evolution. Ankylosaurus is even mentioned in the new Jurassic canon book titled The Evolution of Claire. In other non-related Jurassic Park media, the Ankylosaurus has made numerous appearances as well. It appears in Disney's Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, chasing off the main characters and chasing them off its territory. It appears in the famous BBC Walking with Dinosaurs. Finally, the Ankylosaurus is also a species of dinosaurs in Ark: Survival Evolved. An Ankylosaurus discovered in Montana recently in 2016 looks eerily like Soul, a fictional monster from the movie Ghostbusters. This living armored tank is a beautiful but deadly addition to your Jurassic Park. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.